you can see, there's basically nothing coming up in this food plot. I planted it mid-August. We got one rain like 3 days after I planted it. And here it is, September 13th, and we have not had rain since then. So it's just not been good. But there are a little bit of radishes and turnips coming out, and I got a bunch of oat seeds sitting on the ground just waiting for a rain. Hopefully the deer are out and about tonight, and I can at least see a few. That's all I ask for.
I didn't have to sit very long until the buck that we named Prince showed up. Well, I decided to let Prince walk, and fast forward a couple weeks, I'm back at Zach's for my first morning hunt of the year, and wouldn't you know it, I got another good buck coming my way. Well, I've hunted around cattle all my life, and sometimes things like this just happen. But it's just plain bad luck for the cows to come in and run off this 6.5-year-old buck that we've been watching for 3 years. Well, it is November the 4th. I'm heading up to a spot my cousin Garrett got for us. We've only had a camera up here for about 2 weeks, and there's already, half a dozen pretty decent bucks, and 2 that are potential shooters. There's one that I really like to get a look at. He's got 4 G2s, both of them are. We'll see, it's always fun hunting a new spot for the first time. Well, this is a deer that I thought I'd have a chance to see tonight, and absolutely one of the biggest body deer that I've ever seen. But I have a couple other bigger mature bucks in this area, so I'm not so sure that I'm ready to pull the trigger just yet. Well, this deer looks like a steer walking in, and just getting to watch him do his thing like that is a pretty darn cool experience.
Well, we're on the downhill slide of November. We've had a couple weeks of just cloudy, dreary days. And finally, this afternoon, the sun came out. We had a front roll in, and the temperature's been dropping all day. Now that the sun come out, it's not that cool, but it's probably still in the upper 40s right now, and it's just going to get colder tonight. It's supposed to get down to about freezing, but I'm hoping with the sun coming out, I was going to get some deer up on their feet this evening. I'm hunting a spot that I haven't hunted yet this year. There's a buck over here. I can't tell exactly what it is, but it looks pretty nice. Oh, that's a shooter. He's coming out right here.
Thank you, Lord, so much. Oh my gosh. That's a heck of a good deer. Big, heavy deer. I thought he was going to come out here and run this little button off. Well, the wind is not perfect, but it's good enough. And, oh my goodness, spraying down with that Vapple. He was almost directly downwind of me. He got a little farther than I'd hoped he would. And you could tell he knew something wasn't quite right, and that's why he stood there and stood there and stood there. So I slowly got my hand off the camera on the bow. When he turned his head, drew back, settled in, and made a freaking perfect shot. Oh my God.
Well, tonight is a night that I'm not going to forget for a long time to come. Finally ended my dry spell, and what a great way to start out season 2. You know, we've had a rough season, but it's great to finally get one on the board, and so hopefully this will kind of kick us off and get us going. You know, this is a spot that my cousin Garrett hooked us up with. You know, he said he had a couple spots that he'd let us hunt with him, and this was one that I really had my eyes on. You know, just a nice, heavy, pretty 10-point. It worked as to perfection as it possibly could have, and you know, I'm just so blessed. And you know, the cooks, Fail Attraction, Doe and Estrus did a great job masking my scent, because he was almost directly downwind of me when I shot him. You know, he stood there and smelled and turned his head, gave me an opportunity to draw back and make a great shot on him. So I'm full-time cameraman the rest of the year, and I'm looking forward to that. So hopefully we can get a few more kills, and I can get on behind the camera on a few more kills too.